everybody, I'm here today to tell you about 7 car buying mistakes that you should never make. In this video, I'll be going over 7 specific mistakes that you should avoid when you are buying a car. Now, these mistakes will apply to both new car and used car purchases. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. Mistake number 1 is not negotiating the price. The majority of cars are placed for sale at a price where they sort of know that you're probably going to negotiate. That means that the seller, whether it is a dealership or a private seller, knows that you are likely to negotiate, so they're going to overprice the car a little bit so that when you negotiate, you're going to bring them down to the price that they actually want. That means that if you go in and you buy a used or new car without negotiating the price, you are likely going to be overpaying. Now, this is not true with every single car purchase, but it is true with the majority of them, so negotiate the price to avoid making this mistake. Mistake number 2 is not taking the car for a test drive. It's really important to take the car for a test drive, whether it's a new car or a used car. A car can look good, it can sound good, it can feel good, it can get amazing reviews, but you should be taking the specific car for a test drive to make sure that it's the car for you. You want to make sure that it's going to fit your own specific needs. So don't make mistake number 2 and take the car for a test drive, whether it's a new car or a used car. Mistake number 3, spending more money than you can afford. You should create a budget and create a clear and concise budget and follow that maximum budget. Follow it to a T. Make sure that you're not spending more than you can afford. And make sure that when you do your calculations, you're being honest with yourself. Because sometimes people calculate what they can afford, and let's say they figure out that they can afford a monthly payment of $600 a month. Well, they think, well, I can afford $600 or $700 a month, when in reality, it was $600, not $600 or $700 a month. So make sure that you're only spending what you can afford. Mistake number 4 is buying the car without looking over the terms of the sale. You want to make sure that you look over all of the terms of the sale when you buy a car, whether it's a used car or a new car, whether there are 4 sentences in the terms of the sale or there are 400 pages. You want to make sure to realistically look over the terms of the sale, because you don't want to buy a car and get yourself into something or some specific terms that you can't get out of or that you don't want to be in the first place. Mistake number 5 is failing to fully inspect the car. Now, many people think that because they're buying a brand new car from a dealership that it's going to come without any flaws. That couldn't be further from the truth. Although dealerships, for the most part, try to give you a car that's flawless, sometimes there are things that go under the radar that they don't catch. And then if you take that car off of the lot, it's hard to prove that you got it like that. Let's say you drive the car off of the lot and 20 minutes down the road, you realize that there's a dent in the door panel, on the outside of the door panel. And you bring it back to the dealership and they think, well, how do we know that you didn't just put that dent in there right now and you're trying to make us pay for the repair? So fully inspect the car. Obviously, this is absolutely crucial when you're buying a used car to fully inspect everything, but just as well when you're buying a new car, inspect it as much as you possibly can, and even bring along a second person, because 4 eyes are better than 2. Mistake number 6 when you are buying a car is making a decision too quickly. You want to make sure to take your time when you are buying a car. Take as much time as you possibly need to make that decision. Figure out everything that you need to figure out before you make the decision. And if it is a situation in which you're buying a car that is a rare car and it's like limited edition and there's only one for sale, well, then try your hardest to put in as many hours as you need to be able to make that decision as quickly as you need to make it. But don't make the decision before you're ready. It's as simple as that. Last but not least, mistake number 7 that many people make when buying a car, both used and new, is not waiting to buy the exact car that you want. So sometimes people try to buy a car way too early, earlier than they should be. Let's say they want this car with this trim level, but they can only afford the trim level below it. Then what's going to happen is, and they want to buy it right now, they'll probably buy the trim level below it, and they're going to have this car for, let's say, like 8 years or 10 years, and if they just waited another 2 or 3 months, they could have bought the trim level that they wanted. So that's buying a car too quickly with the idea of not being able to afford the trim level or the specific car. It can even be a different model that you want. But there's also the issue of availability. Let's say you want a specific car in a specific color and you're looking for it on the used market, and you just get tired of waiting and you go and buy a car, similar car, but it's not the color that you want, not the trim level that you want, not the option package that you want, and so forth. Then you bought this car, and then maybe a week later, the one that you actually wanted is going to pop up on the used car market. So with that being said, don't buy a car too quickly at the sacrifice of not getting what you want. Whether it's a matter of price or availability or affordability or whatever the case is, wait until you can actually get what you want. And if you really need a car right now and what you want is not available or you can't afford it, at that point, you can make the decision to buy something that is, second to what you want. And that's basically it. In this video, I've gone over 7 car buying mistakes that you should never make. These are 7 mistakes that you should avoid at all costs when you are buying a used car or a new car. If you like the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great car and driving videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.